Hi guys, it's New Jersey Garden. It's a really cold day in December and I wanted to show you what my plans are for next spring. I've already ordered some seeds for next year and I'll show you guys that in a little bit later in this video. But this has been my fenced off garden plot where I grow vegetables and flowers. I've had this plot for about 4 years. I expanded it once and I'm going to be expanding it again this spring. I have a lot of strawberries growing in here, and primarily this has been the vegetable garden, and I do have it fenced off with some fiberglass tube, fencing with some deer netting in between. And our old pumpkin from Halloween is in here. But I wanted to expand this area. It doesn't get the most sunlight out of all the spots in my yard, but this area is the best suited for a garden space right now. And it is in a southwestern part of the yard. So what I'm going to do is we're going to move this wooden divider on the bottom there, take out these stakes, and then just expand it by about 8 feet. And that will allow me to have more flowers. This reason for the expansion is I have grown vegetables here, like I said, the last few years, but I find that my family's not eating them. So I am going to grow some cherry tomatoes and some sugar snap peas, and I'll continue growing the strawberries and some cucumbers. But rather than continuing to grow like squash and other larger sized vegetables, I am going to just grow more flowers in here. Last summer I sold a lot of my flowers for a few weekends at a farmer's market at a local farm. There are a lot of farms near us. We're in Morris County in New Jersey, but there's a lot of farms here, and one of the farms was gracious enough to let me sell my flower bouquets, and I did sell especially in the spring, I sold a lot of flower bouquets, so I want to continue to try to do that. I'm not trying to become a flower farmer. I have a full-time job, but I am going to try to make some weekend money selling flowers, and I really enjoy the process of growing flowers from seed, which I've done the last 12 years, and I'd like to just continue growing more flowers in this space. So let me show you now what seeds I've bought so far and what the plans are for what cut flowers I'll be growing in this space. Okay, so here's all my packets of seeds. Some are from last year and some are seeds I ordered a couple months ago. I typically do order my seeds in January, but this year I ordered some seeds really early on for whatever reason. So I am going to still order a few more seed packets, and I go a little crazy every winter with the seed packets. But what happened with me is I wanted to try doing some fall planting to see if some of these flowers would overwinter in my zone. And these are called cool flowers, and they typically, you grow them in the summer, you transplant them in the early fall, and then they will grow a little bit and then produce for you the following spring. And you're supposed to get better results with that rather than planting in the early spring. And it really depends on your growing zone, but I'm in zone 6A, and I chose some feverfew seeds to try to grow this fall. And what ended up happening was I started them in the basement, really wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to them over the summer, and then they ended up dying for me down in the basement. So I was, and I was taking a class this fall, and I had no free time to really tend to it. So I may try that again next fall, but this fall was a failure for the cool flowers. But what I tried to do is grow feverfew. So I am going to be ordering a little bit more feverfew to try, because these were expensive seeds, and I lost money planting them in the basement and having them die. The other seeds I tried to grow to as a cool flower were some Sweet Williams. Now I have a lot of Sweet Williams already. They're a great cut flower. They last 2 weeks in the vase. And I ordered some from the Gardener's Workshop, and they died for me in the basement as well because I wasn't tending to them. And what was this one? This is the white lace flower, which is also called Orlea. So I'll be ordering more of that. So those were my failures for the fall. But I did order a lot of seeds, and I want to show you what I ordered, and I will be planting these in February in my basement and then transplanting out in the spring. So let's keep going with the flower seeds that I purchased. I got some Amy, which is like a lace flower. I have a green and a white lace flower. I've grown that in the past. I'm also growing soapwort, which is a spring bloomer. I have some old straw flowers, so I may grow those. They're red straw flowers. I have some statice, and I love statice. Statice lasts a really long time in the vase, but I have trouble growing it. It just seems like it takes forever to grow, and I don't get very big plants, so it may need richer soil than what I have. There's some more Amy. And I'm growing a couple varieties of Snapdragon. This one is pink, TGW pink. There's more statice. These are all cut flowers. There's a rocket mix for Snapdragon that I'm going to try from Johnny's. More lace flower. I'm really excited to try this flower. It's Cerinthe, and I'm not sure if it's going to bloom in like June or July, but it's called Kiwi Blue, and it's a beautiful kind of like dangling purplish blue bellflower type of bloom. And then I'm also going to try for a filler, I'm going to try Mrs. Burns Lemon Citrus Basil. Then I've never grown celosia, and my understanding is it should bloom here in September. So I got a few varieties of celosia. I got the High Z, which is a purple spiky celosia. And then I got the Coxcomb Rose. I got a couple of those. And then I got Kramer's Mix. I have other sunflowers. I may not grow this one this year because I have enough sunflower, I think. But I have these two to try. And then I grew this last year without a lot of success. Again, the sunflowers got pretty beat up by those beetles. So I am going to be spraying, like I said, anything with petals, I'm going to be spraying. And then my big purchase that I made recently was for some, ranunculus corms, and those will get delivered in March. Our ground is totally frozen, sometimes until April. So I'm going to try to get those in the ground as soon as possible. And I'll do the pre-soaking treatment and have them in a dark place for a couple weeks, growing in the basement, and then I'll transplant those out because they do like cooler weather. I am going to buy a frost cover, and I did buy hoops to make like a mini hoop house to protect them from some cold weather that we get in the early spring. So I'm excited for the ranunculus. I got a mixture of colors, and I can describe the ranunculus process when I get into that. So that's it for today. I will show you guys, in a few weeks when I start my basement setup, what that looks like and the soil that I use for that. I usually have a lot of success starting my plants in February and then planting them out in May. So I'll be doing a lot of that. And for the cool flowers that, like the cool weather, like the soapwort and the feverfew, I may start that, late January. So I'll be doing more videos showing you my seed growing process. And so the focus this year, guys, is on cut flowers. And I also, if you see my videos, I have a lot of peony plants. So I'll show you guys all the peonies. I have beautiful peonies that I'm going to try to sell this year. Last year, the place I sold them at was not open to sell my blooms until the week after my peonies started to bud. So by the time I got them there to sell, they were already fully opened and they didn't last long. So those didn't sell that well. So hopefully this year the farm stand will be open the week that I need to sell my peony blooms. Otherwise, I'm just going to try to sell them on Facebook. If the farmer's market isn't open that weekend, I just really want to sell them. So that's the plan. Have a great holiday season, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.